Hey, it's Max Chroma with another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys some updates I've made to the payhip.com/maxchroma web store I use, and I've sort of put all the paid products on sale for now, as well as the paid product bundle. You can get everything for just $50 now. So I'm going to go over some updates I've put into the Max Chroma Photo Tessellator package. If you were to download that package, or just go ahead and get the free upgrade if you've already purchased it, download some of these again. In the action files folder, I've put some new files in there, some updates to the actions. It's now at 1.8.2. And then I've also added this Max Chroma Channel Steps Auto Rip. So we're going to go over that in this video. There's also another Smart Tessellator Actions and Files folder. I've created some new types of smart color separation methods. But we'll go over just the new actions in this video. And that's going to be the action file Channel Steps Auto Rip. Okay, and so I'm going to go and use this is Photoshop CS6, so we're looking at Adobe Photoshop CS6, and I have my Actions panel opened right here, Windows Actions, and then I'm going to just take this Actions file, the Max Chroma Channel Steps Auto Rip version 1.0.0, and drag it right into there. And then if I want to make it easier to run the actions, I can click on this panel button here and go to button mode. And so in the original version of this action set, it's actually available for free on my site here. It's the Max Chroma Channel Separations actions. And what I've done is now taken those actions and turned them into automatic halftone ripping. And I've done it with a few additional steps and put it into a more enhanced chromatic version. So I've got a standard set of the separations to channels, and then a Max Chroma version. And then we've got standard rip steps and Max Chroma rip steps. Now you can change some of the settings. I'll go over that in a future video, but I just want to show you how it works in this video. So I can be looking at my layers panel or my channels. Maybe I'm going to look and watch the channels view while I run this action. Let's just go ahead and do the Max Chroma Rip Steps Pro. And this action, I'm going to go ahead and pause it while it runs. It really only takes about a minute or two, but I'm going to run it on this color wheel test file first. And I'll show you guys the results of how it breaks your image from layers into channels, and they're automatically converted to halftones, and it puts some things in there like registration marks and all sorts of stuff. So I'll show you guys that. I'll just pause the video and we'll continue in a minute when it's done. Okay, so it only took a couple of minutes to run, and it's totally finished with the operation. So what it does is basically splits up the original graphic into a whole bunch of different colors, and all those colors are then split into halftones, and it sets two different documents up. One of those is basically a composite, and so it composites all those halftones together, and then it blurs it a little bit. If I take the blur off, you can see the original way that it's blending them together. So it takes those graphics and it turns them into like just red and yellow, green, cyan, blue, magenta, black and white halftones. And then so it recreates the original graphic colors using those dot patterns. If we go back to this document, we can see under the channels view that we've got things like a shirt color channel, and we've got an underbase white ink. We've got all sorts of sets of colors. We've got CMY, CMYK. We have a red, yellow, blue method, 6 hues. That's the one that's turned on currently we're looking at. And then there's 12 hues, gray, white, and black. And there's a regular white and black as well. So what we're looking at is the channels view, and we're looking at all these different colors in the channels viewed over, and they view from this top layer down to the bottom, and it goes like this. So I'm going to turn off all of the 6 hues for you so you can see it, and the white and black. And you can see that we basically have a gray shirt color. And let's turn off the underbase also. We want to keep this registration marks channel turned on so we can see this. So it's like a gray shirt color. Then there's an underbase white, and this one of them is for the overlocking method that's built into this Max Chroma Rip Steps Pro. And another one is for the black shirts. So we've got one where it's like the underbase white ink for overlock, and then you can see that's got registration marks built in. And then we could do things like yellow for CMY, magenta, cyan, and then you could have white on top, so white ink overprint that. You could also do one that has yellow for CMYK, magenta, and cyan, and then you can do white and black. Then we've got one that's got the red, yellow, blue, azure blue blending with red, blending with yellow. and then you could do white and black for those. And then we have the 6 hues: red, yellow, green, cyan, magenta, and blue. And those, like I said, this is the Max Chroma enhanced chromatic version, so then it puts down a lot of color, and then what you do is you go and you print the white and the black over it. And so we'll get into some stuff on how channels work in more videos about how this action set works, but basically it takes any image you throw into it and breaks it down in that way. And so what do I mean by that is we'll go ahead and run it on another example, like something like this. And I've actually got some other test image examples, like this one right here I built, but we'll kind of show this in another video really. Essentially based off of this color wheel pattern, this is how I design a lot of the stuff and why I create things like this with all these different actions and all the products I have available on my page, all the stuff I teach with the YouTube videos and channel, is I basically show how to break down the colors in an image. And the point is that it would work on any image you throw at it with any colors in it. It's not going to change things around so much. It's going to work with the colors in the image and then try to split it up in a bunch of different ways. And so when you use some of these action sets, like this action set here, it's going to split it up based off of how all the hues in an image might blend together. And I set up this test image to show you that some certain images have more colors in one region of what you'd look at like a whole color wheel than another, right? So a lot of these images over here have some cyans in them. A lot of images up here have greens, lime greens, yellows, orange, red, magenta, violet and purple, blue, etc. So I kind of built this using a whole bunch of different images. Some of them I got off of stock art sites like Adobe Stock. Other ones I made using some AI image generators. And so what I did is created this test image to show you that that's the whole point behind how I build these action sets. Is it's kind of like an approach that it doesn't just work on one type of image, it works on any image that you throw into it. And so what about when we use something like this? Let's just go ahead and run this Max Chroma Ripceps Pro again. And it only takes a minute or so to run. I'll show you guys, like it starts doing the color separations using the layers method. And then it brings it over to the channels. And then once it's in the channels, it starts to create those halftone rips. It converts each of those layers into halftones. And the whole point is you're splitting an image into the various types of ways of each color that can blend the image back together. And then you convert it into those halftone dots. That's more of a technique when you're going to print those colors and how they would blend back together. But you can use it as a graphics effect or anything you want, really. But the point of these products is it helps create those kind of things where you break an image down into lots of different ways, whether you want to just recolor parts of the image or use it for something professional like color separations for screen printing. But there's a lot of things when you go into printing these images onto films and making screens out of it that I can't necessarily predict how it's going to work with your equipment. So I can only really sell you the method, all the different ways I've developed over the years to come up with different types of separations, but I need to maybe show you guys in different videos using different tests and different types of imagery how the different actions and the different plugins and techniques I would use on different types of images. But a lot of these ones that work in a sort of full color method or a simulated process blending method, those ones work where, and I'm going to look at the channels panel now and watch it building out these different channels. So these ones work where it sort of looks at it in a color theory approach. And it's based off of this HWB color theory, or just kind of looking at the RGB colors in a linear method and then reblending all those colors back together in any different way you want. And so some of the other actions I've got that are in the photo tessellator are looking at it more like a simplified approach of just breaking an image down into a few custom colors, or more advanced approaches. And I want to show you guys that are trying to get into this stuff. Some people approach it just from a more traditional method using like this color separation to channels thing. And so I've really got all the different stuff available, and the free actions for the Max Chroma channel separations are there. The Max Chroma Color Blender and Halftone Tessellator plugin, that whole plugin set has a couple of different panel pages for channels. And I'll show that in some videos with this version of Photoshop as well. But I've got some action sets now in the photo tessellator that's for the $40, or for just $50 you can get the whole paid products bundle. And this one now brings it all the way to some enhanced chromatic methods, and it also goes to halftones right away for you. So looking at this image, I could sort of already take it and let me turn on the registration marks channel, and let's just turn off all of these, and we'll turn off this white and black at the end. So let's just look at it and say, okay, maybe we got an underbase white, and we could put down the 6 hues red and 6 hues yellow, green, cyan, blue, or magenta and blue, right? Magenta and then blue. And you see how it puts all this color down? And then what we have over at the end is just a highlight white and a black. And with the highlight white ink, we really want to be careful. The solidity is set because we want to put a lot of clear or reducer into this ink and make it not go down 100% over this color. So when these white dots print over that blue, I kind of want to thin it down a little bit. I might overpower it too much if I have this solidity set to 100%. Okay, it's going to be a little bit too much white ink. But going on top, it's going to help tint everything down, and that's why I put all this color down first. So you can tint the colors with the white, and then you can put the black down and do shading essentially with the black. And so here's that halftone composite, okay? And the method that I use, the reason for going all the way to halftones and the automation of it, is I use certain halftone techniques, creating interlocking and sort of like this rosette pattern you're going to get out of having the red and yellow interlocking at one angle, and then the black and white interlock at a different angle. And you can change some of those things under these user mode resolutions and bitmap settings, but we'll get into that in another video, really. This video is just about the new updated actions, the Channel Seps Pro 1.0 action set, and how it breaks things into these different hues, and white and black, and you could use gray. And it does it all the way from layers into channels using registration marks on each of the channels. So you could pretty much take this stuff right to print. Like I would maybe just get rid of all these other channels that I don't need, right? So let's click on these, hold shift. I'm going to select all of these channels here for the 12 hues, maybe the medium gray and white and black without gray. Just hit the trash icon there, and then I will take the underbase white for black shirts. And we could try and see what that looks like. Let's just put the shirt color on with the registration marks, change the shirt color a little bit darker. Okay, and then we'll do the 6 hues red, yellow, green, cyan, magenta, and blue. And we could put the white ink on there, and you can see what it would sort of look like on black shirts, but then you need to make sure each of these inks have some solidity to them. But they do print down a lot of color, so it'll overlap that underbase. The underbase helps it to show up on a darker shirt color. So we could change that shirt color to black and have it print that way. But I would advise also using maybe the standard Seps Pro version of it and working with it on that version, because then each of these colors are not enhanced as much. But let's just go ahead and look at it like the regular underbase. Let's get rid of this base, the gray base, yellow, magenta, cyan, yellow, magenta, cyan, the red RYB versions, red, yellow, blue, and then we'll get rid of those. And so really we just want the registration marks channel. We don't need that one or the transparency mask. We just have the shirt color, the underbase white, a 6 hues red, yellow, green, cyan, magenta, and blue. And then we have a white ink and a black. Okay, so that's basically, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screens. And then there's ways in which people sometimes merge them down to make it less screens. You could use that red, yellow, blue version or the CMYK versions, but we'll get into a lot of that stuff in other videos as to why to use less colors. Like when I've got that other example I was showing you, this one here, sometimes an image might only use like the cyan and some white and some black. So you would see that when we run this test image, and I'll do that in another video. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys how to use the Max Chroma Channel Seps Pro action, and that action is now available. It's the Channel Seps Auto Rip, available when you download the Max Chroma Photo Tessellator 2022 for $40 off of my payhip.com/maxchroma website. And so everything is now on sale. and the whole paid product bundle is just $50. So we'll show you guys in some future videos a bunch of more test examples I've got coming up. And I want to show you guys again how to print all these different things, not just color separate them on the screen, but it really helps to have something that can handle this stuff automatically. Like, I built these things not just to handle the images like this, but there's a lot of times when you might have transparency in the image and you want to deal with that as well. So this action set actually handles the transparency also. But we'll continue that in the next video in this series. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.